My son looked at me and said, "I don't like how it feels here anymore." That was the moment I realized staying would destroy him faster than leaving ever could. My wife's betrayal didn't start with lipstick on a collar or some strange number on her phone. It started with my 13-year-old son smiling bigger than I'd seen in years, saying, "Mom's the coolest. All my friends wish she was their mom." If you told me then what that smile was really hiding, I would have laughed in your face. Anyway, before everything fell apart, we looked like a commercial for a happy American family. My name's Mark. I'm 38, project manager for a construction company. The guy in a reflective vest yelling into a walkie-talkie on half-finished roads. My wife, my ex-wife in everything but paperwork, is Emily. She used to be a graphic designer, then turned into the full-time engine that ran our house. And then there's our boy, Noah. 13, 8th grade, mop of dark hair he pretends he doesn't style, and a closet full of hoodies from teams he doesn't even watch. Noah is that combination of shy and funny that only really shows up when he feels safe. That always used to be with us. We lived in a 3-bedroom house at the edge of town, the kind of place with a dented mailbox and a basketball hoop over the garage that leans just a little to the left. On summer evenings, you could find us in the driveway. Me bricking jump shots, Noah laughing at me, Emily sitting on the tailgate of my truck with a glass of iced tea, heckling both of us like a sports commentator. Sundays were pancakes and church if my mom guilt-tripped us hard enough. Fridays were pizza and movie night. We argued over toppings and what to watch, but it was the easy kind of arguing, the kind that ends with someone stealing a slice off someone else's plate and everybody groaning. Our fights, when we had them, were over small stuff. I'd forget to take out the trash. She'd forget to fill up the gas tank. We'd snap, apologize, kiss on the cheek, and move on. I really thought that was love. Not the big grand gestures, just the 1,000 tiny ordinary days stacked on top of each other. People at work used to say, "Man, you're lucky. Emily's a keeper." And I believed them. She ran the PDA bake sale like it was the Super Bowl. She knew all Noah's teachers by first name. Other moms would ask her for advice on how to connect with their kids. And me? I'd look at them and think, I did it. I beat the statistics. Good job, Mark. You built something solid. If there were cracks back then, I didn't see them. All I saw was my family, laughing around the dinner table, my wife's hand brushing mine as she passed the mashed potatoes, my son rolling his eyes at some dad joke I'd murdered. I had no idea that same house, that same table, that same smile on my kid's face would be what finally broke me. I can tell you the exact moment the first crack showed up, even if I didn't understand it then. It was a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays were my late shift. I came home around 8, shoulders aching, smelling like hot asphalt and dust. Emily was out running errands, according to the note on the counter. Noah was at the table, hunched over his homework, headphones around his neck instead of on his ears. That alone was weird. "Hey, bud," I said, dropping my keys in the bowl. "How was school?" He shrugged, but there was this little smile tugging at his mouth. "Pretty good." I grabbed a soda from the fridge and leaned against the counter. "Anything interesting happen?" He hesitated, then looked up, eyes brighter than usual. "Yeah, actually, my friends think you and Mom are like the coolest parents." I laughed. "We are undeniably very cool." "No, I mean especially Mom," he said. "They all wish she was their mom. Some of the guys say she's like fun. Fun." The way he said it made something in my stomach fold over. "What do you mean fun?" I asked, keeping my voice light. He shrugged again, but it was too quick this time. "I don't know. Just fun. She talks to them. She lets them hang out here, drives them places, buys snacks, stuff like that." That sounded like Emily. She was always the mom with the extra snacks, the rides, the open door. Fit. Still, there was something in his tone that stuck to me. Over the next few weeks, I kept hearing these little things. Mom let us stay up in my room and play games even though it was late. Mom said she'd help Jake with his project after school. Just them. Mom said I don't have to tell you everything. That it's okay to have secrets. That last one lodged in my chest like a splinter. Secrets? I repeated. She really said that? Noah suddenly got interested in his cereal. Yeah, like private stuff. She said dads don't get it sometimes. I laughed it off at the time, but it bothered me. Emily and I weren't perfect, but we were a team, or at least ID thought so. Since when were we playing on opposite sides? Then I started noticing the schedule changes. Emily picking Noah up from school more often. Emily volunteering in his class even when there wasn't a school event. Emily knowing the names of more boys in his grade than I could keep track of. One night, as we were getting into bed, I joked, "You're spending a lot of time at middle school these days. Planning on repeating 8th grade?" She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Someone's got to be involved. Besides, the boys like me. It makes Noah popular. The boys like you, I repeated. Don't be weird, she said, rolling over. They're just kids, Mark. I told myself she was right. I told myself I was overthinking. But the more Noah talked, the more I felt it. That slow, uneasy twist in my gut that said something about our perfect little life had shifted, and I was the last one to notice. I found out on a Saturday afternoon, the kind of day that should have just been about laundry and football on TV. Noah had a friend over, Ethan, one of the boys I'd heard about a lot lately. Tall kid, already broader than most in his class, a little too confident for 13. I'd seen him around, said hi, tossed them a bag of chips. Nothing more. That day, I came home early from a supply run. Emily thought I'd be gone another couple of hours. My phone had died, so I didn't text her. I pulled into the driveway, saw Ethan's bike tossed in the grass, Noah's sneakers on the porch like usual. Nothing strange. Inside, the house was quiet. Too quiet for two teenage boys. "Noah?" I called out, dropping the grocery bags on the counter. "Hey guys, I got snacks." No answer. I heard voices upstairs then. One of them was Emily's. Not the tone she used when she was yelling at Noah about chores. Softer. Laughing. Then a low male voice. I thought maybe she had the TV on. I went up the stairs, each step heavier than it should have been. Our bedroom door was closed. So was Noah's. I was halfway down the hall when I heard it. Ethan's voice, clear as day, from behind Noah's door. "If your dad finds out, he'll kill me." Emily's voice, hushed. "He won't. Relax. He trusts me. And you're just helping Noah with homework. Remember?" My hand froze on the doorknob. In that second, everything inside me snapped into place like a puzzle I'd been pretending wasn't there. All the late pickups. All the study sessions. All the times Noah said, "Mom's got it, Dad, you don't have to worry." I pushed the door open. They were on Noah's bed, sitting too close. Clothes on, nothing that would look terrible in a photograph, but the air in that room, it was wrong. Ethan's face went pale the moment he saw me. Emily jumped like someone had poured ice water down her back. "Mark," she started, standing up too fast. I didn't even look at her first. My eyes locked on Ethan. A kid. My kid's classmate. In my son's room. With my wife. "What?" I said, and my voice didn't sound like mine, "is going on here?" Ethan stammered something about a project. His hands were shaking. Emily cut him off. "We were just talking," she said quickly. "About school. You're overreacting." I wasn't a genius, but I wasn't blind. I'd seen that look before, on grown men at bars, on couples who thought no one noticed. The guilty jump, the panicked eyes, the way they'd moved just a fraction too far apart when I came in. "Ethan," I said, "go home." He grabbed his backpack so fast he nearly tripped. On the way out, he wouldn't look at me. That was all the confirmation I needed. The door closed behind him, and the house felt like it shrank around us. Just me and Emily. My wife. The mother of my son. "Tell me the truth," I said quietly. "Is it what I think it is?" She opened her mouth, closed it, looked away. That silence was louder than any confession. I felt my knees go weak. "You with him?" I whispered. "With Noah's classmate?" Her eyes filled with tears, but what I saw there wasn't just regret. There was something else, fear, and under it a trace of something like stubbornness. Like she'd already chosen her side in this story. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she finally said. And just like that, the last good piece of my life fell off the shelf and shattered. I didn't mean for it to happen. Those were her words. but they just bounced around in my head like they were in somebody else's house, somebody else's life. I stood there in Noah's room, staring at the posters on his wall, the unmade bed, the gaming controller on the floor, all of it suddenly feeling contaminated. Like even his childhood had fingerprints on it now. How does something like that just happen, Emily? I asked. My voice came out thin, shaky. Not angry, just hollow. She wiped her eyes but didn't come closer. That hurt more than if Shed screamed. I was helping him with homework, with projects. He was here a lot. He talked to me. He listened. I don't know, Mark, I was lonely and... Lonely? I almost laughed. You're lonely so you choose a boy from our son's class? The word boy sat between us like a brick. Because that's what he was. Taller than most grown men, maybe. Deeper voice than Noah. But still a kid. And my wife had crossed a line I didn't even know how to name. My face burned. It wasn't just anger. It was shame. Shame like a heavy coat I couldn't take off. I saw it all in fast forward. Other parents finding out, whispers at school, Noah's friends texting, screens lighting up with rumors. I imagined walking into the next PTA meeting and every dad looking at me with pity, every mom looking at me with something worse. How long? I finally said. She hesitated, and that split second was another knife. A few weeks, she whispered. It was just messages at first. Then he stayed late a couple times. I stopped it. I swear I stopped it. I sat down hard on Noah's desk chair because my legs felt like they were made of sand. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. Does Noah know? I asked. Her head jerked up. No. He doesn't know anything. He just thinks Ethan likes hanging out here. That's all. I pressed my palms into my eyes until I saw little flashes of light. I didn't know what to be first. A husband who'd just been betrayed or a father whose wife had crossed a line with a kid under his roof. What am I supposed to do with this? I said quietly. Emily, how am I supposed to look at you? At him? At our son? She took a small step toward me. We can fix it. We can go to counseling. I held up a hand. Please just don't say we right now. The house, our safe place, felt like a stage set that someone had kicked over. Every memory we'd made here now had this shadow behind it. I thought about Thanksgiving at this table, Christmas mornings in this living room, first day of school pictures on these stairs. Had all of that been real? Or had I just not been paying attention while my life slid sideways? I felt like a fool. Not just because Shed cheated, but because Shed done it with someone connected to Noah. Our boy. Our innocent, trusting kid who still believed our home was the safest place in the world. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just sat there, drowning quietly in my own house, realizing I had absolutely no idea what the next hour, let alone the next year, was supposed to look like. I wish I could say I made some brave, clean decision that same day. Truth is, I walked around in a fog for a while, doing the dishes, going to work, nodding at people like I wasn't bleeding out on the inside. The turning point came 2 nights later. It was late. Emily was in the guest room now. We talked only when we had to, our words clipped and practical, like co-workers after a fight. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my head in my hands when Noah came in for water. He stopped when he saw me. Dad, you okay? I almost said the automatic yeah, bud, but the word stuck. I looked up at him. This kid who still trusted me to know what to do, and I just shook my head. No, I said. I'm not. He sat down across from me, his face serious in a way that made him look older. Are you and Mom getting divorced? The way he said it told me he'd been thinking about it for a while. Kids always know more than we think they do. Something happened, I said carefully. Something that crossed a line. And I can't pretend it didn't. He swallowed hard. Did you mess up? That one hit me in the chest. I shook my head. Not this time, no. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I don't like how it feels here anymore. Those words, that was it. Whatever rope I'd been hanging onto snapped. What do you mean? I asked. I don't know, he said, staring at the table. It's just weird. Awkward. I don't want to bring friends over. I don't want to hear you guys whispering or pretending everything's fine. He looked up, and his eyes were wet. I just want to feel normal again. Normal. I couldn't give him perfect. I couldn't erase what had happened. But maybe I could give him that. That night, after he went to bed, I sat on the living room floor with my laptop open and pulled up job listings in cities I'd only ever driven through. Cincinnati, Nashville, Charlotte, anywhere that wasn't here, where every street corner had a memory attached. The next day, while Noah was at school, I told Emily. "I'm taking him," I said. My voice shook, but I didn't back down. "I'm moving. Another city. New start. I'll work out the legal part, but I'm done pretending this house is still a home." She stared at me like I'd slapped her. "You can't just take my son from me." "He's our son," I said softly. "And I'm not taking him from you. I'm taking him away from this mess. From the whispers that are coming when this gets out. From having to sit in a classroom with a kid you." I stopped myself, jaw tightening. "I can't make him live in the middle of that." Tears spilled over her cheeks. "I made a mistake, Mark. I'm still his mother." "Yes," I said. "You are. And he'll still see you. We'll figure out breaks, summers, whatever the court says. But day to day. He needs distance. I need distance." She covered her face, shoulders shaking. For a second, I almost softened. This was the woman I'd built a life with. The girl I'd danced with at our wedding while my uncle recorded it on a shaky camcorder. But then I pictured Noah at school, hearing the wrong version of the story from the wrong mouth, and my resolve hardened again. The move didn't happen overnight, but once the decision was made, things shifted. I found a job 2 states away. Small city, decent schools, cheaper rent. I visited on a weekend, drove past the middle school, the grocery store, the park. Nothing special, which was exactly what I wanted. A place with no history. Telling Noah was the one part one didn't dread. We were sitting on the hood of my truck in the driveway at dusk, the sky turning orange over the rooftops. "How would you feel," I asked, "about starting over somewhere new? Just you and me. New house, new school, fresh start." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Will I still see Mom?" "Yeah," I said. "Well, make sure of it. But day to day, it'd be me and you. You okay with that?" He took a breath, then nodded. "Yeah. I think I'd like that." We didn't hug dramatically or cry into each other's shoulders. We just sat there, side by side, our shoulders touching, watching the last light fade on the house that had held both our best and worst days. On the last morning, the moving truck loaded, I walked through the empty rooms. The echo of our life was everywhere. The faint outline where the couch had been, the little dents in the hallway from wrestling matches, the notch in the doorframe where Wed marked Noah's height. Emily and I stood in the doorway. She looked smaller somehow. "Take care of him," she whispered. "I will," I said. "That's one promise I know I can keep." There wasn't anything else to say that wouldn't cheapen what had been or excuse what had happened. So I just nodded, turned, and walked to the truck where Noah was waiting. As we pulled out of the driveway, he twisted in his seat to look back. I did too. For a second, all I saw was the good. Birthday parties, Christmas lights, late-night talks over cold pizza. Then, slowly, that house became just a building again. With brick windows. A place we used to live. "Hey, Dad?" Noah said as we hit the main road. "Are we gonna be okay?" I gripped the steering wheel a little tighter, eyes on the highway ahead. "I don't know if okay is the right word," I said honestly. "But we're gonna keep going. One day at a time. And we're going to build something better. Different, but better." He seemed to think about that, then nodded. "I can live with that." So that's what we did. We drove toward a city where no one knew our last name, where no one had an opinion about my marriage or my wife or what happened in my son's bedroom. It wasn't a happy ending, not the kind I'd pictured when we first brought Noah home from the hospital. But maybe that's the thing I'm still learning. Some stories don't end with a perfect bow. Some just change direction. You take what's left, your kid, your backbone, your battered heart, and you try again, hoping that this time the foundation holds.